a man chased down and shot dead in broad daylight along the Jaffa promenade. On a typical weekend day, the area sees thousands of visitors flocking to the idyllic park south of Tel Aviv. This weekend, stunned onlookers became the audience as violence from Israel's criminal underworld stepped out from the shadows. Around noon on Saturday, masked men armed with M16s chased down the victim through the port parking lot, firing a volley of bullets. Ahmad Kazaz, a 40-year-old resident of Jaffa, was pulled unresponsive from the sea after jumping over the pier. The victim was known to be a senior member in a criminal organization, a convicted murderer who had been released from prison in recent years after serving time for running over a police officer. The audacity of the attack sparking concern over police deterrence and the criminal's willingness to carry out the act in such a public setting.
This is a serious incident which harms the sense of security of many of the residents in the area who come here on Saturday to the Jaffa port. We view this incident gravely. It will not disappear from our agenda.
Kazaz was the 104th victim of deadly crime violence gripping the Arab-Israeli population. They represent 20% of the population in Israel, but the killings account for about 70% of all homicides in the country. The surging violence has been blamed on the rise of well-armed Arab crime organizations, which have emerged over decades of lawlessness. It's fueled protests among Arab citizens, calling for police action and accusing the government of neglecting crime in the Arab sector. Fewer than a quarter of homicide cases in the Arab sector are solved. Critics say the problem is a symptom of both police indifference as well as Arab distrust of the police and lack of cooperation with authorities. With the violence spiraling out of control, the government has made combating crime in the Arab sector a national priority.
We are approving the national plan to fight crime in the Arab sector, which, as we saw over the weekend, is spilling all over the country. The plan amounts to an additional 2.5 billion shekels. This is not a one-sided task. This is not just a task of the government. It's a common goal of the Israeli government with the Arab-Israeli public. The state will do its thing, but the Arab-Israeli street must play its part as well. It will not be easy, but we have to succeed.
As the government works to figure out how to address the problem, the number of victims continues to rise.